Welcome back. So after weeks of grueling tasks and weekly challenges from crown chasers leading to the final night of the competition, 28-year-old Mia Roux has been crowned Miss South Africa 2024. It took place over this weekend. And this was not Mia's first beauty competition, as she previously won titles such as Miss Tracy, Miss Garden Route and Ultimate Wildcat. Roux also competed at Miss Deaf South Africa, where she was placed in the top 5. And she joins us now to reflect on her future plans during her reign. Miss South Africa in studio with us. Good morning, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? And thank you so much for having me.
We are so excited to have you. You know, we actually called, and you can see on the corner of our screen there, Pumza Sikumba, our sign language interpreter, brought in for this conversation, because I think your crowning has made us really start to put the word inclusivity back in our tongues again. But I want to start with this. Have you gotten used to being called Miss South Africa yet?
A little bit. I am starting to get used to it. But it's still very like, pinch me, is this real?
Yeah, it's you know, this is, I was saying yesterday to Aldrin that I think that your being crowned is such a beautiful moment for South Africa. It is, finally, we're going to really understand such a big part of our country, right? 4 million people in South Africa that are either deaf or hard of hearing. And people are watching our conversation, they're thinking, wait, but if she's deaf, how is she hearing your questions? How are you guys doing this? It's an opportunity for us to educate people.
Absolutely. So I have a cochlear implant which I received at the age of 2. And the cochlear implant is amazing technology that is able to help you have a representation of sounds, but it's not the same as you hear. So I still do have struggles with my hearing, hence my speech impediments, etc. I've received a lot of speech therapy that have learned me to speak and how to listen to you. So it's a lot of little parts that is able to help me to communicate with you. I read your body language, I read your lips, and then with the cochlear implant as well.
It's incredible. You know, yesterday we were speaking to an academic who was speaking about the deaf community. And one of the things that she talked about is how incredible it is that you are bilingual. Right? That you also speak Afrikaans, which I thought was absolutely incredible. The work that goes into that then, because all that speech therapy and English and Afrikaans, and you don't just speak South African Sign Language.
No, I actually have not been able to receive an education in South African Sign Language, as we moved to a small town when I was 5 years old, and all of our resources went to speech therapy, because my parents wanted to give me the best possible future where I am as included as I possibly can be. And they thought at the time the best thing for me would be to learn to speak and communicate.
Yeah. And they made the right choices. They really, really did. I've got so many questions, you know. In the run-up to the pageant on Saturday, let's be honest, there was so much drama, right? I mean, so much conversation around which of the finalists should be making it. Chidima, obviously, a big talking point. Let us be a fly on the wall. For the girls that were also competing, how were you guys coping and staying focused for the competition throughout that storm?
It was extremely hard for us, as each one of us personally know and love Chichi. She's our little Chichi, and we've grown to know her and love her, and we truly do not believe that she deserved it, as we know her, and she's a phenomenal, powerful, beautiful woman in her own right, and she deserved her spot on Miss South Africa. And I stand for unity. I do not stand for people being divided. So I do think we can do better in that aspect. We need to support and include one another, because she was excluded. Yeah. And that's not okay.
Yeah, but it was difficult to watch, I can imagine, from the inside, looking in. But I think that when you think about what you represent, though, not just for the pageant, for the country, for the continent. I mean, the world was watching Miss South Africa for the weeks up until this pageant. And, you know, so many questions around how people felt about you as Miss South Africa. What do you think you represent?
I think I represent hope. And I represent hope for anyone who has felt different. And that is not just for people who are differently abled, but literally anyone who has felt different or excluded in some form. And I am showing them, sometimes even if you feel there's not a space for you, or you feel like you have to work 10 times harder to do something, like it's okay if it's like that. If you have a dream, it's there for a reason. And you have to fight for it because you are worthy of that, and you are worthy of a beautiful life. And I think I've given people hope that they can have that beautiful life if they fight for it.
Yeah, I think you really have. You really, really have. You know, one of the discussions that the country has been having has been how we really show inclusivity for people with disability. And there was a time when government was talking about increasing the threshold of to 3% in employment, right? So people with disability at 3% of those that are employed. And we've been struggling to meet that criteria. Why do you think that is? And what do you think can change that?
So we have 4.5 million people within South Africa that are disabled, and over 19% of them are unemployed. And I believe that we have not put enough attention to empower the workspace and the schools with tools in order how to be inclusive, or how to help, or how to create a space for them. Because a lot of these people are actually extremely capable and intelligent. They are just not given an opportunity to show it. Because like we South Africans love hard work, but we also, the differently abled, also want a chance. So I do think we need to empower.
Yeah, and that work has to happen, and it starts with access, right? So how do you want to take that mission on?
But it's a mission that will evolve and process with time, but my first priority, or the first starting point that I want, is to have captions on news bulletins. Because that is something I'm excluded from news, because I don't understand South African Sign Language to that extent. I cannot always hear what is being said over the news, and I am being excluded from information. And so are so many others. So that's the first thing I'm asking for. But there is a lot of work that I'm planning out. For example, I want to have workshops with workspaces on how to be inclusive. And it's something that I feel we really can build on. I've already been getting a lot of people reaching out to me, giving me ideas or telling me how they are happy to jump into this project. So I'm very hopeful. No,
you're going to spark a lot of projects and a lot of initiatives that are so important. So, I mean, even I'm taking the note, you know, writing it down, captions for the news, so that we're able to include the 4 million people in the country that also want information. But if you will, paint a picture of what that lack of inclusivity looks like on a daily basis, right? I mean, a lot of people may not understand that if you are hard of hearing, for instance, that because I can't see that you're hard of hearing, that the inclusivity is become so much more important, but also very difficult for some people.
For me personally, because I'm hard of hearing, I read sign language, and I can read it very strongly. So, for example, if I ask someone to repeat something again, or I can just see I didn't hear someone and I can see they look annoyed, I see it 10 times stronger than someone else would see. And for me, it's difficult because sometimes it does affect me. Because I want everyone around me to be happy, but you can't make everyone happy. So I think that is one of the first things is the body language that I'm able to read of people and see how sometimes they can get a bit annoyed, etc. But it's okay, it is what it is. The second thing is just lack of access to information. Like, I can't even go to the cinema and watch a movie and go enjoy it. Small things like that. Like, I also want to be a part of small, light-hearted moments. For example, if I'm in a group and someone's making a joke and I couldn't hear, and they tell me, but it's not important. I want to also know, I don't want to know just the important stuff. I want to know the happy stuff too. Yeah. Little things like that.
Okay, well, you're talking about fun and light moments. I'm looking for, you know, the fun and light moments in this pageant. Because there are so many little girls, and I'd love to hear about the little girl in you, you know, and how you pictured yourself one day being Miss South Africa. But there are so many girls that look at you and think, you know, one day that's going to be me. I'll admit it, when I was, 8 years old, I also wanted to be, a pageant queen. But what do you talk to us about the beautiful moments in the pageant that really stand out for you, and why Miss South Africa is still so relevant?
For me, Miss South Africa is extremely relevant as they have actually broken a barrier by giving me a chance. They knew nothing about me, but they said, I'm willing to take her on. I see something inside of her that is worthy, and I am willing to learn. And they really were relentless in their pursuit of being educated and helping to accommodate me on wherever I needed to be accommodated. And it was absolutely beautiful. Like, I think it's such a powerful theme, and I'm so grateful for them for that. And then for the little girl in me, it wasn't a realistic dream for me when I was little.
Yeah.
I never thought someone like me could do this. Like, I think this is why this is still so unbelievable for me. Well, because I worked really hard to get here, and just on my confidence and my mental health and everything. But I also know all the other little girls out there who has felt different won't feel the way I did when I was little, because now they actually see someone like them that can, and they feel represented.
Yeah.
And now they can also go achieve their dreams, and I can't wait to see it.
I can see from, when you say that, because now I'm trying to learn this, what you're teaching me about how you can read body language 10 times better than what I can, than what, and I'm looking into your eyes as you speak, and I see, as you say, how hard you've worked. I can tell the emotion that's behind there. You know the work that you've put in, and now you're here. What do you most want to enjoy about Miss South Africa? So let's talk about because for many young girls, again, we say it's a fairy tale, right? But what are the things that you're really looking forward to most about enjoying being the crown of the queen of the land?
I really enjoy just having the opportunity to see the difference that it can make. Like, I've seen posts of little girls with cochlear implants saying, Mia made me want to wear a crown.
That's beautiful.
To me, that is what makes my heart so full, and that to me is very special. And also just being able to live the life of a Miss South Africa. Like, I can't wait to get a dog. I want to get a dog that is medically trained. Like, if someone knocks on the door, the dog can come and tell me, I think someone's knocking the door, but not like that, but you know what I mean. And just so many little things I've always wanted, I finally can have. It's amazing. I'm very grateful.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
Good luck, because you're also going to be representing us on the global scale, right?
Yes.
And when I was asking an expert yesterday, I said, what does Mia then need on the global scale? Because she needs access to every single one of those rooms, and she needs to be able to feel that she's part of it so that she represents us confidently. What do you need for us to make sure you have when we go to Miss World and Miss Universe?
What I need from South Africa is to jump at this opportunity to show how strong we are, to be inclusive, like put captions on your news bulletins, show how much we can progress and what a difference Miss South Africa can make, because that will help us to walk really in very strong. Yeah.
I've taken the notes. I've taken the notes. I've heard you. I've taken the notes, and I'm going to make sure that we have the conversation with our team. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you, Mia, and thank you so much for bringing hope back into our country after a very difficult run-up to the competition, and we are so, so proud of you. We can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate and I really enjoyed this conversation.
Oh, thank you so much. Mia Roux,